Today I'll be watching and reacting to the Necropolis League reveal, and then after I'll be reading patch notes and giving my opinions and thoughts on them. And it's just about to start, so let's get into this.
We had a lot of fun making this one, so let's just get straight into it with the trailer.
Alright, this is what I'm excited about, because we'll be playing this next week. I wish they would kind of put PoE 2 on the back burner, stop showing it off so much so we can focus on PoE 1 until PoE 2 is actually ready. Alrighty, what do we got?
Cold flesh, dirt, maggots.
He reminds me of Walter Frey from Game of Thrones.
Our job is to keep them where they belong. It's your first night, so you'll need this. A ghostly lantern for ghastly tinkering.
I don't know what I'm looking at right now. I'm getting kind of
You learn to peer into the souls
Sanctum
of the
vibes
dead.
for a minute.
You'll learn how to twist them. Meet me in the Necropolis. You can pilfer shiny things from a corpse, but you can pilfer glorious things from a soul. I need a gravedigger.
Necropolis League. I like that little animation of him coming out the portal. Tier 17 maps, multiple Atlas passive trees. Oh, hell yeah, that's so good. I love that. Scarab overhaul. We saw that they had Anarchy Scarabs, which are new. New endgame bosses. Quality of life features were really good for the most part. More transfigured gems, thank goodness. I was worried that we weren't going to be getting new skill gems.
The job's
Okay.
hard, but the pay's good. What
Looks
do you
sweet.
say?
I'm excited for the
In
new
the
skill
Necropolis
gems.
League, you will encounter Undertaker Aramor, a man collecting the scattered spirits of the Eternal Empire for a mysterious purpose. These spirits have begun to haunt the monsters of Rayclast, unleashing their ancient fury and sorrow onto the world. The Undertaker will provide you with the Lantern of Aramor, a powerful family heirloom which can illuminate the wrathful spirits haunting monsters throughout Rayclast. With it, the Undertaker hopes to employ you to rid Rayclast of this menace, and further his
Wait,
cryptic
his armor
goals.
looks weird. I wonder if that's an MTX.
The lantern can be used when entering any new area. When peering through it, you can examine the spirits haunting that area.
Oh,
lantern also allows
cool.
you to
So this
manipulate
was one of the
letting
problems
you
I had
configure
with
which monsters are affected by which
Affliction
mobs.
League.
It would be wise
That
to
it would
take the time
empower
with your
enemies that
decisions
you
here,
didn't
so the
want to
spirits
get
are not
empowered, like the
forgiven.
boss or an essence monster or something like that.
When peering through the lantern, you can also see extra details about the packs of monsters in the area.
I like
Robbers
this a
here are
lot more.
considered common.
And you can also see what
Whereas the
the
water
actual
elementals are more
specific
scarce.
modifiers are giving them are.
If you want things to be easier, you can put the more difficult spirits on the elementals, which you'll encounter less often. We've tried
Cool.
to make sure that by engaging with the lantern, you are able to intelligently control the difficulty.
I like
in the
that a lot more.
Necropolis League.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest
The
problems with
spirits
Affliction
come in a
League.
number of forms which represent the danger they pose. For example here, the infested vultures are servant haunted, causing them to deal a small amount of increased damage. But the Vol's Vanguard are noble haunted, causing them to deal a large amount of increased damage. As you reach higher level areas in Rayclast, the tier and number of spirits that are haunting monsters will generally increase.
All of these armors that
Your
they're
game knowledge
wearing
can
are
help you
new.
here. If you're aware of the composition of a monster
Might be
pack,
MTXs.
this means certain mods will be easier to manage. For example, the mod that increases a pack's damage for every monster killed has no effect on packs with a single monster, like a Devourer. However, if we found a spirit that makes the strongest monster in a pack deal 100% more damage, well, I'm going to avoid the Devourer. You might have noticed that the Lantern of Aramor provides other useful information. such as the types of abilities
Yeah,
monsters
this
use,
is
or
like
the
some
damage
kind of
types they
information
deal.
that you would have to go to the wiki
So
to
for
find out
those who are
usually.
less familiar with how these monsters work,
This
this
is
can
really
be a
cool.
great way to learn what you're up against.
Yeah, this is really cool.
The spirits are constantly moving throughout Rayclast, so if you are finding a campaign area too difficult, you can just wait a few minutes and peer through the lantern again to see what's changed.
Oh, interesting. They
Of
do that
course,
with
powerful spirits beget powerful
their
rewards.
events at the end of the league sometimes.
There are 2 reasons why you might want to face a challenge now and then. Firstly, not all the spirits are malicious. Sometimes the monsters aren't haunted at all, but are instead devoted. These can grant basic rewards like increased experience, or bigger rewards like spawning the Nameless Seer, an NPC that
Oh,
will
he's
grant you a single
back.
unique item after you defeat all of the packs affected by that spirit.
Nice. Love
The
that
more
guy.
haunted monsters you defeat
He was
in
in
the
Affliction
previous
League.
area before using the lantern, the more likely the devoted monsters will appear in the next area.
Okay.
Monsters haunted by higher tier spirits will increase the chance of the devoted appearing even more, meaning that sometimes it's worth putting the hardest modifier possible on very common monsters. If you're
Right,
ready.
makes sense.
Again,
I like that, that's
we've
cool.
tried
You
hard
can't
here to
change
allow
one
players to
zone into the
customize
next.
the danger and rewards as much as they can.
I wonder how that will work with
Aramor
maps.
is an Undertaker, and you can probably guess what we're taking to him. The second main reward from the Necropolis League is monsters with unresolved anguish. Once slain, their corpses need extra care from the Undertaker, and he will offer to take them back to his necropolis and store them in the morgue. Time to earn your keep. When you are ready, you can visit the morgue to view the monsters you have collected, and then get to work burying them in one of many graves in Aramor's cemetery. For example, we will bury this Katava's Herald. Aramor's mysterious soul experiments can coalesce powerful items.
Get
Here
some
I've
movement speed
chosen
on
to
your
create
boots,
a
that one?
pair of boots.
Of Lunaris, heal your pains and aid this soldier, so that you may grace them with fleetness.
I
These
love
boots
this guy.
are useful for my character, but aren't exactly what I hoped for. And this is where the Necropolis crafting system really shines.
600% modifiers.
You'll have noticed that the corpse we collected earlier had a crafting effect on it.
Yo.
In fact, all collected corpses do.
Crafting
multiple
league. I
corpses
always
in the
love
cemetery,
crafting leagues.
All adjacent corpses can be exercised at once to create one item. All of the crafting effects on
Dude,
those
this is like
corpses will apply to
Harvest.
that
It's like
same item.
Harvest 2.0 almost.
This allows you to have either one or many different crafting projects ongoing in the cemetery. For example, next time I try to create boots, I could bury corpses that increase the chance of getting move speed modifiers. To go further, I could use these to generate higher tier modifiers. Then, I could
It's a lot
try
of
to
speed
bias
you
it
got there,
towards
bud.
being an evasion pair with this. Finally, I'll apply some crafting effects that improve the probability of getting good rolls. Now, let's craft our item and see
So
what
do you
we
just
get.
craft it or do you have to kill something to get it? Okay. So it's just, you kill your monsters, get their body parts, and then once you are ready to craft, you can go do your craft. I love how you just
As you can see now, we have a much better pair of boots, forged from the souls of our enemies.
Looks sweet,
You could
man.
even use the entire cemetery to craft one item.
Looks
there is
in
always
depth.
something you can do to
A
try
lot
and
of
ensure your item will be as best as
Effort
it can
and
be.
thought put into it.
We hope to see some really crazy grave crafts.
Hopefully, we also get like
If you are
currency
lucky,
rewards
you
and
might find
stuff.
corpses with meta crafting modifiers. These can be buried to manipulate your crafting projects in more drastic ways. This one increases the potency of all crafting effects of adjacent undead corpses. Another meta crafting modifier gives a chance to drop an extra item from your craft, with all the same crafting outcomes applied.
Cool.
All you have to do is bury a lot of undead monsters.
I do hope that there's like currency and stuff like that. Instead of just crafting. I personally love crafting leagues, but they are typically a little bit less popular.
You can also craft new unique items exclusive to the Necropolis League using this system.
New unique.
As you explore Rayclast, you might find the corpses of famous Eternal Empire families.
Julianus.
And when you bury an entire family together and exorcise them, they will thank you with a unique specific to their lineage.
May the painters and poets of the Navalius family spread the story of the Eternal Empire far and wide, so that all may...
For example, the Navalius Inheritance Belt. I'll give you a moment to check that out.
Flask applied, you have a 1% increased effect per level. That
You
is
can use other
insane.
corpses alongside them to grant implicit mods,
Passive skills and
manipulate
rate is
the
also
values
great
of
in
explicit
5
mods,
life.
and more.
That's nice.
In this case, with the Paranda's pack,
That belt was
you
insane.
can even change the modifiers it generates.
Assuming it works.
This unique is a
flex.
jewel which adds extra stats to passive skills in a radius when
Parandus.
socketed into the passive skill tree. The stats it adds are randomly generated, but you can bias it towards a specific type by using other crafting effects, such as this one, which increases the chance of getting life modifiers. Let's see what we get.
Wait, how does the life modifier work with the unique one though? I guess maybe if there's multiple jewels, is this gonna be the jewel again? Yeah.
Damn,
Oh.
we didn't get it this time. I guess we're gonna have to go and collect more corpses.
Okay.
Of course, you can trade the corpses away to other players. All you need to do is
Nice.
purchase empty coffins from the Undertaker
One
and use them
siege.
on your corpses in the morgue, which will itemize them.
Cool. Good for Trade League.
Another item in the Necropolis League that you can find are Embers of the All Flame. These are monster spirits that remain living in the All Flame, a powerful ancient artifact of Rayclast. And you can set them free by placing them in the Lantern of Aramor and defeating them. These embers drop throughout Rayclast as itemized
So
packs
that
of
sounds like it'll
monsters.
be really good for
You are
people
able to
juicing.
use these packs
You
to
can-
replace the packs in areas.
Oh, it
For
replaces
example,
the packs.
we have found this All Flame Ember of
Karui
Tarkor.
tattoos.
We can now
Tattoos, they're
go to
back.
enter the next area and replace one of the monster packs in here. You can see we have also gotten one of the
Tattoos
default
are
modifiers to appear.
huge.
We can pair up the Karui ancestors with this modifier, making them even more rewarding. Let's go ahead and replace the tentacle miscreations.
Interesting.
However, when replacing packs, you want to double check their density, as the new pack will inherit the density of
Dude,
the
this looks
replaced pack.
so in depth.
The Karui ancestors we have now added to our area can even drop basic variations of tattoos.
Yes.
If you aren't aware, this is an item type from the Trial of the Ancestors,
Yeah, it
mode, which
is.
can be used on passive skills to change what they do.
Oh, I'm so glad they're
There
back.
are
Tattoos
many
are probably
different
my
types
favorite
of
thing they've
itemized
ever done.
packs. You can find Breach and Legion monsters that drop splinters, untainted packs that provide insane amounts of experience,
Nice.
and even simple frogs.
Okay,
Which can be
so
used
this
to
will probably,
replace
the
difficult
embers
monsters
will
to
be how
make
you
life
get like your
easier.
currency drops in your
And of course, these
splinters
Ember
and stuff.
monsters can be raised as specters too.
Nice, new specters for the minion
Finally,
cooks.
let's discuss how this league works in in-game maps.
Yes, I was curious about
Each
this.
in-game map will allow you to manipulate it using the lantern on the map device UI. However, instead of randomly cycling every few minutes, it is fixed to that map.
Okay.
Once you view the map through the lantern, you cannot remove it from the map device. So you can't trade that map away now that you've seen it is too difficult for you,
I see.
or has monsters in it that you'd rather avoid.
Does it chain
Like
together like it
Overminds.
does when you're leveling?
We're also trying something new this time around. During the Necropolis League, there will be support for the League on the Atlas passive tree.
Nice. I like that.
Multiple clusters will be there, allowing you to enhance the gameplay, customize it, and even change its behavior in
I
meaningful
see another new
ways.
cluster right there for
One
scarabs.
way that you can change the crafting in a meaningful way is with the Prospero's Wager Keystone.
All corpses with unresolved anguish in your maps have revealed random
With this
craft when
keystone,
defeated.
all the monsters with unresolved anguish come with
Whoa.
this crafting modifier,
Did I read that right?
which
That's
causes
OP.
them to generate a random craft when buried.
Oh, when buried.
This means instead of pre-planning your crafts, you have to adapt to them on the fly to get the best results. These clusters will not be available in Standard League.
Whew. Okay.
In 3.24, we've made a plethora of changes to the endgame. We've introducing new bosses, adding another tier of maps, and streamlining
Yeah,
the Atlas.
Tier 17 maps.
The
That's
most
interesting.
difficult and most rewarding content in Path of Exile can be found in Uber Pinnacle bosses, such as the Maven and the Searing Exarch.
Because
Currently,
endgame
the
bosses
only way
are
to
tier
access
17.
these bosses is by allocating specific keystones on the Atlas passive tree. While this system offers a nice element of control, it causes a problem. Rewards and access to the non-Uber variants are now economically priced around the
Yeah,
rewards of
I
the
always
Uber
hated
fights.
that. It's always better
This
to sell
means
your
it is
invitations if
wasteful
you're not
to
doing
run the
Ubers.
non-Uber variants instead of simply selling them.
Yeah.
Another problem that we noticed is the difficulty jump between the Pinnacle and Uber Pinnacle content was relatively large, and there wasn't obvious content that could bridge this gap. Many players would give up on their characters before being able to defeat the Uber Pinnacle bosses. In 3.24, we will be making some changes to this. We are removing the keystones that give access to the Uber Pinnacle bosses from the Atlas tree, and instead we'll be adding a new set of fragments that
This
give
is
you
good.
access to this content.
This is really good.
Where do you get these fragments? We are adding a new tier of maps, Tier 17 maps, which not only give you access to the Uber Pinnacle content, but also test your characters in new ways. They feature a new set of bosses, Uber
Ooh,
monsters,
I see it.
and a new tier of modifiers that can roll on the maps.
Okay.
There are 5 new Tier 17 maps in total, with some surprising boss fights at the end.
Cool.
We'll look at a couple today.
So tier
and the rest you'll
17
have to
is
discover
what
for
the
yourself.
regular endgame bosses are.
First,
Monster
we
level
have the
85.
Citadel map. This map contains an ancient Kalguran citadel. You will encounter
So these will be
many
equivalent
expedition
of like
monsters as the
Shaper
signature packs
or
throughout the
Elder
map.
or
At the
Uber Elder,
end, you will
regular
fight
Uber Elder.
Uber
So
Uhtred.
easy.
This is a version of a boss from Expedition League, with all its abilities and mechanics enhanced. Uber Uhtred will even be able to summon 2 other expedition bosses to aid it during the fight. Secondly, we have the Fortress map. This map is an impregnable fortress, guarded by monsters from
Give
the
me
Heist
12
League.
good men and some
At
planet
the end,
picks,
you
and
will
I'll
encounter
bring
an
it,
Uber
bitch.
version of the Unbreakable. Again, it has enhanced abilities and mechanics you'll have to learn and overcome. Each of the Tier 17 map bosses has a chance to drop a unique item, allowing for some target farming. However, these aren't entirely new unique items. Instead, we've taken other unique items, removing them from the core drop
Headhunter?
pool and rebalancing them to fit here.
Rage Blood?
One example is this
Oh, okay,
reworked
okay.
version of
They're gonna
Rage
take old
Lord.
ones.
It has
Bad ones.
4 Abyss sockets,
Okay.
and allows you to summon an additional Spectre for each Ghastly Eye jewel socketed into it.
We can only have specters.
Another example is Mana Storm. This has been rebalanced to grant a lot more damage than before, alongside some more impactful mana stats, if you can get lucky rolls. Alongside adding Tier 17 maps, we have also changed the Uber Pinnacle bosses to have completely distinct unique item drop pools from their non-Uber counterparts.
That's good.
This means there is a reason to farm both versions.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Let's take a look at the Shaper versus the Uber Shaper.
So I'm curious where the old
The
Uber
Shaper
drops
will
will be
drop
going.
these uniques: Voidwalker, Shaper's Touch, Solstice Vigil,
Okay.
and Dying Sun. Whereas the Uber Shaper will drop these:
Okay.
Echoes of Creation.
So the old Uber
Sublime
drops will be
Vision,
with the new Uber
Entropic
drops still.
Devastation, Starforge, and a
Didn't
new
they say that
unique
they're gonna
belt
bring in-
called the Tides of Time.
Okay, there it is. Wow.
Another example of a new unique is this helmet from the Uber Eater
Pathfinder.
of Worlds.
Dude, so many flash
Ravenous
spells.
Passion. And these gloves from the Uber Searing
Rage grants
Exarch.
spell damage instead of
Celestial
attack damage. I
Grace.
love it.
Each of the Uber Pinnacle
Melee
bosses has a
hits,
new unique added to their
Strike
drop
skills
pools.
fortify. Plus 8 to
We've
maximum
identified
fortification.
another major problem with the endgame we'd like to address. With every expansion added to the game, we have been increasing the complexity of running maps. It's at the point now where a player must repeatedly execute a large sequence of steps to run maps efficiently.
Okay,
It
so
can be
they're
easy to forget critical steps,
making quality
and
of
it can be
life for
tiring
juicing.
to repeat
Endgame
them.
juicing.
To solve this, we are removing some systems, but are keeping what is good about them. The 2 main systems we've removed are Sextants and the Master Mission Selector. It is not our intention to dull the content, however. We have completely reworked Scarabs to include most of the options that were previously covered by those mechanics,
Okay.
and many, many more.
I don't think this is
Let's take
necessarily
a
a
look at some
problem.
of them.
People will be
Commonly,
disappointed
You might find Scarabs that simply grant access to different content.
just because he's taking things
Here,
away.
we have a Scarab that causes Beyond Demons to spawn when killing monsters in your maps. And here, we have one that adds a Delirium Mirror. Each type of Scarab now has multiple versions, so if you want to fully invest in a type of content, you can do so.
So there's like a new
Here's a
ultra
suite
winged,
of Ultimatum Scarabs.
uber winged.
This Ultimatum Scarab adds an Ultimatum encounter
Nice.
to a map. This Ultimatum Scarab of bribing then causes that Ultimatum encounter to grant better rewards and its monsters to yield more experience.
Limit of
This
2.
Ultimatum Scarab of
Limit
Doom
of
will cause that
2.
Ultimatum encounter to
So you can
always
use
guarantee
multiple
the
of some
Trial Master
same
boss
scarab
fight at the
sometimes.
end,
This one only has
assuming you
one.
can survive through all the rounds. This Ultimatum Scarab of Catalyzing will cause all rewards from
that's
that
so
Ultimatum
good.
to be catalysts, instead of other rewards. And
Whew.
finally, this Ultimatum Scarab of Inscription will cause all catalyst rewards from that ultimatum to be inscribed ultimatums instead.
This is a
There
big
are
change.
plenty of others. If you enjoy divination card farming, you might want to use these.
10%
This
more.
Divination Scarab of Curation causes more divination cards to drop for each different favored map you have selected. But it also causes whatever map you're running to only drop divination cards from those favored maps. So if you want to try and aim for
Weird.
your Mage Blood and don't want to just farm Crimson Temple, then this Scarab is for you.
That's cool.
This Divination Scarab of Completion
Full
causes your Divination
stats.
cards to have a 20% chance to drop as a full stack instead, for maximum dopamine.
Cool.
Basically, there are
Dude,
now
there's
just a
so
lot of
many
scarabs.
scarabs
You
now.
might have also noticed that they no longer have tiers. Scarabs are now all world drops. You can get them anywhere. Some might be rarer than others, but the intention is that there'll be a lot more options than before, and more interesting combinations to consider. If you want to target specific scarabs, Betrayal has been updated to include most of them, and you will need to relearn which ones come from where.
Nice.
While this system is allowing you to heavily invest in one type of content, it is reducing your capacity for variety. To address this, we have massively increased access to content on the Atlas passive tree. You are now able to reliably get different leagues like Breach.
He doesn't
or
show
Legion
the
from
notable.
Just your Atlas passives.
Interesting that he doesn't show the
Regarding
notable
master
for the
missions,
breach one.
Content such as Incursion, Delve, Betrayal, and Bestiary, these too are now accessible with scarabs.
Nice. Okay, so
and have
master
more
missions are
reliable
scarabs.
investment
Though.
options on the tree. Not only this, you can now get Jun, Einhar,
Yep.
Alva, and Nico to appear together in the same map.
So master missions are basically
We've
just league
also
mechanics.
removed
Huh?
some keystones such as Wandering Path, Grand Design, and Growing Hordes, but have added some new ones too. For example, Unwavering Vision,
Scarabs cannot be found on your map screens. 20
Back to
Atlas
basics.
passives. 0 to
And
80%
thorough
more
exploration.
randomly. 50.
and we have added some new notables. Such
Wait,
as
that was
Remarkable
an
Relics,
affliction
which
thing.
allows you to try find better
Wisps,
variants
wisps
of
are
scarabs.
back.
Mounting modifiers, which increases the values of modifiers on your maps by 2% for each explicit modifier. And Tainted Carapaces,
Pretty big.
which is just one in a set of many that allow you to target farm specific types of scarabs.
Cool.
These are just a few
Great
of the many
changes,
new
man.
notables that can be found on the Atlas passive skill tree. Lastly, we are giving you more flexibility in what content you want to run in the endgame. In 3.24, you can now have multiple copies of the Atlas tree,
I love
which can be
this.
swapped between maps at your leisure.
I love this
You
so
can
much.
unlock up to 2 extra trees for a total of 3 by progressing through the endgame and completing core content.
This was like in SSF
When
specifically,
you
this
open
was
a map,
such a
you can
big
select
problem.
which tree you would like to use.
You would have to
For
farm
a given
your
league, you'll never feel
tree
constrained
for
to playing
like
your endgame a
days
single
until you
way.
want to
You
swap.
can also label your trees to
Oh, you can
easily
just
identify
change them
which
right
one has
there.
which content.
Nice.
With all this combined,
I
we're
think they
hoping to see
teased
new
something right
endgame
there.
strategies shine through.
But I didn't see it fast enough.
While playing through the campaign in 3.24, you'll notice a myriad of small improvements and surprises. The fundamentals of the campaign are still intact.
Whoa, that's a
but we've
Legion in
added
Act
fun
1.
encounters and secrets throughout Rayclast. The Dweller of the Deep has been trapped.
He's in Essence now?
What are these ritual shrines doing in the Northern Forest?
Yeah. Yeah, what are they doing in the
And
Northern
why are
Forest?
they giving me omens?
Oh, omens are back. Okay, cool.
This device looks safe. I should definitely use this on my items.
Wait.
There are plenty
Oh,
more
it was in
encounters
the
to
Vault
discover.
Temple.
We'll
Oh,
continue
okay.
adding more surprises in future releases.
Nice.
So keep an eye out.
That's nice. That's really
In the previous
refreshing.
expansion, 3.23, we released
okay.
a large
This is
number
it.
of
This is
transfigured
this is
skill
the
gems.
biggest thing for me personally.
These are alternate versions of existing skill
Whoa,
gems that function in
explosions.
very different ways, allowing for more build and gameplay variety. At the
He's
time, our
also going really
aspirations were
fast.
higher than we could achieve. We planned more gems than we could make. So, in 3.24, we're adding another set of transfigured gems that we have now finished. Ice Shot, Incinerate, Artillery Ballista, Tornado, Elemental Hit, Kinetic Blast, Poisonous Concoction, and lastly, Summon Holy Relic.
Okay. There was one that was
Hopefully
like
those of you who
Frostbolt. I think it was
missed your favourite skill
Frostbolt. I was
having
kind
a
of excited for them to
transfigured
do something
variant
with
will
that.
get that here. We will
They're
certainly
freezing
be
pulse
adding more of
tornadoes.
these in the future, especially for skills that are missing them still. Of course, we'll also be doing a balance pass on the existing transfigured gems.
Yeah.
One of the main ones we're looking at is Kinetic Bolt of Fragmentation. As a result of this change, it is clear that the endgame potential of the Wander archetype really starts to suffer, mostly in the single target damage department. Due to this, we've added the new support gem, Sacred Wisps. This support gem causes supported skills to create 2 attached wisps for a duration. With these wisps, whenever you attack, they have a chance to also use the same skill, if you have enemies
It's
in your presence.
Mirage
And if
Archer
there are
for
any rare or
Wanders.
unique
I've been
enemies,
wanting this
they
for
will
so long.
always use the skill. That leads us into all the other quality of life features we're introducing in 324. And there's
There's a good chance
shitload.
I'll start a Wander then.
Many of these have been revealed in teasers already, but here's a quick summary. We've added the
Yep.
automation
Okay,
and
so
skill
these are things that
trees,
they've already
being
revealed.
able to trigger instant skills and war cries without having to bind them to left click. You can now hold down Control and left click to automatically apply certain currency orbs until they achieve the desired result, or you run out. For example, you can hold down fusings until you reach maximum links. You will be able to control, shift, click currency into a trade window to automatically move all of that currency at once from your inventory. Detonate Dead now has clearer telegraphing
This one's a big
effects.
one.
When harvest crafting, the item hover will always be visible, so you no longer have to mouse back and forth to see the results of your crafts.
Nice little quality of life.
When you use a Val Orb on a map, the map no
This one's
longer
pretty
has a
sweet,
chance to
actually.
become unidentified. Instead, it adds a new implicit.
So you can get
Created a set of
new
implicits
corrupted
that affect the
implicits on your
areas in
maps.
fun ways.
Could be really
Related
big for
to that,
choosers.
corrupted and
There could be
mirrored
maps
items
worth
can
a
now be
lot of money with
identified.
that.
Breach hands now
Oh, you can
open
ID
upon approach,
mirrored
and no
items.
longer need to be clicked.
This is really nice. You can
Upgrades
just
to
walk over
Pantheon
breach
powers
hands.
now apply to all characters in a league.
Pantheon things are shared.
Vessels on each new character.
Very good. Very good
With
change.
harvest crafting, you can now re-roll Uber Elder
This is
fragments.
huge for SSF. It would
Fragments
always
dropped by
be such a
Defender
pain in the
cannot be
butt
re-rolled into fragments dropped
having
by
to get
Elder,
the
and
specific
vice
fragment
versa.
that you needed.
Regarding Betrayal, we're removing Ashling's crafting bench as a reward. Instead, Veiled Orbs now perform that function.
Veiled
They
orbs are
remove
going to
a
be
mob
worth like
and
2 or
replace it
3
with a
divs
veiled
each.
mob. These orbs now drop from Katarina.
Katarina is
and are
an
no longer a
even
world
better
drop.
boss to farm than before.
Flasks can now be corrupted by Val Orbs, giving
Dude.
random -10 to +10 quality.
Yeah, this is
The
big.
capability
Flasks
to
are
add extra
huge.
quality to weapons,
They can be
armors,
worth
and
big money,
flasks
too.
has been removed from Betrayal. The Betrayal bench craft that converts an amulet to a talisman has been moved to Bestiary, and thus can be traded. Maven invitations no longer drop. Instead, when you have completed witnessing all bosses required to go to the Maven's arena, you can just talk to Karak, and he'll open a map device window with the invitation already in there.
This was a big
Ready
one for
to be
me.
rolled.
In SSF, I
Valdo's maps that
went like
granted
20
invitations
maps without
now
finding
get
an
scattered.
invitation, and I just stopped playing.
No more having to waste Guardian kills to try get invitations to drop. Next
Supporter
up, we're going to be
packs.
talking about our new League supporter packs.
Alright, let's see if these are the armor
Today,
sets that I
we're
kept
launching
seeing.
2 new series of supporter packs, the Solar and Eldritch packs. Each tier contains the full pack's face value and points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. These packs are only available for the duration of the Necropolis League, and will leave the store forever when it ends. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic, and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way.
No,
the Solar
it's
series of
not.
supporter packs contains
So
6
they showed off a
exclusive
bunch of different
microtransactions.
armor sets then. That are like
Cosmos
actual
weapon
armor
effect
sets.
adorns your weapon with stars. Hitting enemies causes cosmic energy to spill out into the area around them. The Radiant Orb of Chance extra effect projects the outcome of items you've used an Orb of Chance on above your head. Remember
And
to
a
congratulate other
shaft.
exiles in town if you see their
Yeah,
chance
there
a
it
powerful
is.
unique item. Shine boldly with the Solar Knight armor set. The
Yeah.
power of the sun radiates from your body.
I'm
getting
really
more
curious about
and
the
more
armor sets
intense
they
as
showed
you
off
use
while
skills
leveling.
and emitting solar flares as you run.
I wonder if it's just updated
With the
art,
supernova
maybe?
level up extra effect, the dead will be raised from the ground around you, before being obliterated and turned to ash by an epic supernova whenever you level up.
Oh, okay, new level up animation.
one is my
I like
personal
those. Those are
favorite.
fun.
The Cosmic Turtle Hideout lets you travel
The
infinite
Cosmic
expanse of the
Turtle
cosmos
Hideout.
atop the back of a colossal turtle.
Oh yeah, that's good. I
Carry
like
the
that.
weight of the sun on your back with the Solar Guardian back attachment. Witness it grow larger and larger as the energy of slain enemies is funneled into it. When it reaches its maximum size, it goes supernova and turns into a black hole, forever drifting throughout Rayclast. The Eldritch Pack series also has 6 exclusive microtransactions.
You can get a little eater.
Are you wondering if we moved the stash in the latest patch?
You can be a mimic.
Don't be fooled, because with the Mimic Stash pet,
Oh.
players can transform into an image of a stash when in a town or hideout, and scare unsuspecting exiles.
Oh, that's so good.
This pet follows behind you with its terrifying hand-walking the rest of the time. The Shaper's Slam finisher effect sends slain unique enemies
yes.
Of unending darkness.
Alright, I might actually get this one.
The Eldritch Hunger armor set contains a beast that demands you defeat it by embracing your bloodlust. Watch it grow in power the more you kill until it bursts from the shell of the helmet. Are you able to satiate its hunger? The seed within the
Portal
Corrupted Growth map device expands its
nasty.
grasp on your hideout, the more maps you complete on your atlas. Equipping the Headhunter character effect causes skulls of slain rare enemies to whirl around you like trophies. They become enraged when you are near a rare enemy you are yet to kill, wishing for them to join your collection. Witness a reality where the struggle didn't exist, allowing the Eldritch Horrors to settle their own conflicts with the Eldritch Horror Apparition effect. Which of the Eater of Worlds or Searing Exarch do you think will win? These packs are now available for purchase on both PC and console,
The
and will
mimic
remain
choice
so
is
during
so
Path
funny.
of Exile Necropolis. Meanwhile, the Shade and Disciple packs leave the store forever at the launch of Necropolis League, so now's your last chance to purchase them. Thank you so much for your ongoing support.
Cool.
We're
Alrighty.
just about to start the Q&A with ZD.
I will not be reacting
Afterwards-
to the Q&A, but this league looked awesome. It looks so much more in depth than the last few leagues have been. You could argue that the Totem League had a decent amount of depth with its strategy and stuff, but Affliction League was really just picking up wisps, getting a ton of loot, and just having loot explosions everywhere. I'm definitely looking forward to having a league mechanic where I can put some thought and effort into it and get rewarded for doing that. I love crafting leagues, especially in SSF, but even in Trade League, because your average power level of your gear is so much higher in a crafting league than it is in a normal league. I think the Embers will give you some really fun rewards as well, and you have some strategy with it to make sure that you put that on the right pack of monsters that will give you the most rewards. It encourages you to full clear because you chain your like remnants or whatever they called them from one map to another. It empowers your next map based on how many you killed in the previous map, which also allows you to have a little bit more control. What's this? Okay, this is just the interview. It also allows you to have a little bit more control over how difficult the league mechanic will be for you. And it's always nice to have that kind of player control over the difficulty of the game. The end game quality of life changes look great. I'm really excited for tier 17 maps. Those are basically new end game bosses. There's 5 of them. And then they made Uber bosses have their own invitations, so you can now not be afraid of running the regular invitations. So that's really nice for me. I just like doing content, but I would usually end up selling my stuff in Trade League because it's just more efficient to do it that way. Overall, great preview. I'm super excited for this league. I think it will be I think it will be great for me personally. I could see it being a lot less popular than Affliction League just because Affliction League was such an insane loot league and people love loot. Let's see, anything else? Yeah, I think that does it. That was a sweet reveal. Super excited for next week. I will be waiting for patch notes. I'll cover patch notes in another video. And then once I see the patch notes, I'll have a better idea of what I want to league start. And then I'll probably start throwing out some practice videos over the next week until league launch. And then with league launch, I'll be making a highlight video of my league launch and show how it goes. Probably be starting off with Softcore Trade League, playing with some of my friends. And then we'll see how it goes from there. Maybe I'll end up starting over in SSF like I usually do. But maybe I'll just go hard in Trade League, get a Mage Blood and a head on there, have some fun with that, and see how things are. So thank you for watching. I'm super excited. I hope you are too. And I'll see you next time.